In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who came to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. We thank him for raising in our midst the promised Messiah and predicted Christ, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we thank them both today for giving us a divine leader, teacher, and guide in the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. I greet my beloved brothers and sisters in the words of peace, in the language of our fathers of Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is here, and he is ready to come forward, and I know that you are ready to receive him. Let us keep in mind that the book of Hosea, which is oft quoted, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge," also contains another verse, "Because thou hast rejected knowledge, so I also will reject thee." Yesterday, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan gave a radio interview with Brother Clifford Kelly. I don't know how many of you heard it, but it was beautiful. For 2 hours, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan responded to very intelligent, and I feel divinely guided questioning posed by Clifford Kelly to bring out of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan wisdom that you and I need to guide us to our salvation. At the end of that program, however, calls came in which made me to know that it is time for us to stand up and not allow the Honorable Louis Farrakhan to have to represent himself. After a man devotes 40 years of his life to resurrecting our people in the name of Almighty God Allah, then we owe that man confidence, trust, and respect. The caller who called in and questioned ownership of a home by the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, I want to warn us, not from me, but from God. Do you expect God to allow a man to give his life for 40 years and not provide decent housing for that man? Would you begrudge your own black leadership when you see entertainers, when you see politicians, when you see coke dealers living well in your midst, and you do not question from whence came the resources? But when you see a divinely guided man who should have 20 mansions, who there is not enough that we can do for this man in gratitude to Allah for favoring us with a man that will not compromise, cannot be bought, cannot be sold. Brothers and sisters, I warn us, we must grow spiritually to be able to accept a gift from Allah. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when Allah gives you a gift, you must accept it. So to the caller who called in and said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left you in charge of the nation, then why did you not get up and take charge of the nation? 15 years ago, when the Honorable Louis Farrakhan stood up in the hells of North America, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's name was being drugged through the mud. When I heard his word, I was suffering from cancer, being treated on chemotherapy, being shot with the poisons of the devil. Had I had to wait for the detractors who out of envy and jealousy of his success now want to question him, I would be buried 6 feet under today, waiting for them to get up. It was this man, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, who when the heart of the black nation was broken, picked up the pieces to the detriment and danger of himself and his family. And we will not tolerate disrespect.
right. That's how you start the program off. Peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of Do Not Radio, the place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born a lot. And I'm telling you, if this program didn't start off the way that it started off, it couldn't have started off no other way. We looking at two divine warriors, two healing angels. Okay, we got them both on the screen at the same time. Okay, at the same time. So miracles are true. Miracles happen. Prayers do get answered when you pray unto God that you would have two divine ones here in our midst. They just so happen to be related. They just so happen to be mother and daughter. They both are mothers, both are daughters, and prove that the greatest gift that you could ever have in life is a black woman. Okay, so it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some percent to others. Our divine driven strategist whisperer here, okay, Queen Mother Shanita, and the incomparable angel from Allah herself back one more time to help us heal. Even if we don't want to, we understand. Like vicariously, we healing regardless. Okay, just to be in her presence, healing with Angelica's own Angelica X. Peace and blessings to you both, mother and daughter. Thank you for coming here and taking time out of your schedule to dialogue with your loved one. How you feeling?
Oh, too.
I am feeling wonderful.
Okay, 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 okay.
All is well by the grace of Allah. Thank you again and again and again and again for having us on the
Hmm.
show. I am looking
Yes,
forward
thank
to
you.
today's dialogue.
I wanted to ask. I asked you both what mother means. I wanted to start with what it means to be daughter and the lessons you learned from daughterhood. I don't know if we give that enough credence. What does it mean to be a daughter?
Ooh, what does it mean to be a daughter? Wow. Um, daughter to me, I believe means um, someone who is open to learning lessons from those before her, if that's mother, grandmother, great great grandmother. Um, daughter is, um, I believe, someone that is getting the baton passed to her, in this midst of life and being a woman. So being open to learning what it is to be a mother, learning to be a woman, is that stage that you're in when you're a daughter. So yeah.
What about you, mother?
Oh, being a daughter. Wow. Um, being a daughter is being strong. Being a daughter and me being the oldest from my mother.
Mm,
And I say strong because I was the one that had to lead for my brother.
mm,
Um, yeah, my mom was a single mom, and at that time, I had to step up and become a big sister at the age of 10.
mm.
Um, so, being a daughter means to be strong, aware, having a sense of yourself, having pride in yourself. Because I took on a role at such an early age. Um, being a leader for my brother, being a daughter, at that particular time meant a lot for me. Um, being a daughter and learning from my mother. the things um, that I should do and that I should not do.
Mm.
Um, growing up, becoming a teenager, and a lot of mishaps happened in my life, and when I did not listen to my mother, as a daughter should.
Mm.
Um, oh yeah, a lot of mistakes, but you know, from those mistakes, I did learn, and being a daughter, it still stands, obviously, even in my older age. So it's about being strong, aware, and knowing who you are within yourself. As far as I'm concerned, and I guess that's about all with the being a daughter
Beautiful.
from my perspective.
Beautiful. Angelica, you wanted to say something else? What you wanted to say? You was cooking. It was something
Oh,
that was cooking. I could feel it. What was you? What was
No,
you about to
because
oh
say?
she
no.
no, because she brought up like learning learning from, her mother, which is my grandmother, and like I'm not saying it's verbatim, but like you know, just in those earlier stages of teenage years, just making mistakes and stuff like that. And I put my little finger up like, cause
Yeah, I
I was
wasn't gonna touch. Yeah, I wasn't gonna touch. Not to cut you off. I apologize. I wasn't gonna touch on nothing.
yeah.
Concerning
No,
you
you
as my daughter.
yeah, it's stories, but I came a long way.
Yes,
Hey,
you have. Yeah, I say
that's beautiful.
amen. All that, baby. Yes, you have.
I love it. I love it. I wish that I could have done this with my mother. May Allah be pleased with her. But since you're both here, I can do it with my mother. I was talking to my sisters yesterday, my eldest sister and my youngest sister. So they are mother figures and they are mothers. And a space of reformation, a space of reconciliation, a space of apologizing after becoming aware of things. My sister was the oldest child. She was the only child for 5 years. And then my eldest brother came. Then the rest of us came. So she went from being the center of the world to being mother too from a very young age. So she didn't get an opportunity for most of her life to be something other than, and that's not things that you just know you're here. You just know you popped up, you showed up, and you're doing what you're doing. So I'm looking at her and I'm looking at my youngest sister. I'm directly smack dab in the middle, three older, three younger. So her, you know so when I'm thinking about daughter, she is a daughter learning from her mother, but she's learning motherhood forcibly. She didn't. It's like, all right, me children. I'm not about to have a thousand. No, thank you. You see what I'm saying? But she has, a son, one son, and she can devote all of the energy and time to him in that space. But her being daughter, her being the eldest, and then going through all of those things, she shared some of those things yesterday. So I gave her a space of love and honor and glory because of that role and what it meant to be daughter. Daughter as in regards to twin with son, this is a qualifying period. It qualifies you. When you become daughter, when you become son, that means everybody else's role in the family changes.
Hmm.
Everybody else's role. So it's not just an instance where your daughter, now somebody becomes brother, somebody becomes uncle, somebody becomes mother, someone becomes father. Now there's a qualification. The adage says it takes a village to raise a child. That's the village. So everybody is assigned some sort of designation based upon that qualifier that came. Once that life comes into existence, there's a qualification.
Hmm.
So daughter being one of the most precious qualifications. One of the things that may change a man's whole entire being. How he thought, what he thought, the things that he used to say. Hopefully, prayerfully, some of those things change is with the birth of a child, but more especially the birth of a daughter. So now he's mindful of how he's presenting himself. He's mindful in his relationships with the public and with women in particular. So he can remember. And now he's critical of the boy that he was, right? Through the boys that may look to garner your attention. So willfully in that space with that qualifying period, he rises to the occasion and the village rises to the occasion. So daughter being a qualifier or a disqualifier. So however the polarity works in that favor. So y'all sharing your perspective on daughter was beautiful because I've never been a daughter. So for the daughters that are out here that are listening, these are qualifiers. These are qualifiers, these are tenants, and then in that other space, they're disqualifiers. So for those who don't qualify in that space, you have standards, you have expectations, you have something that you carry with you in regards to how you see the world. So I wanted to ask the second question in regards to daughter, going back now that you are both mothers, right? What could you take away from your daughter experience? Is there a space where you went back to reconcile? You had a moment of clarity, like, man, I used to give my mother blah blah da 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 da. You can fill in the blank, or because in our child age, in our child space, we in a rush to be grown because everybody else around us is grown. So we just literally want to be like everybody else. And it's like, I don't want to sit at the little table and why I got all of that. So, because we just want to do what everyone else is doing until we realize what everyone else is doing. It's like, oh, bills. Oh, you talking about stuff. Oh, I just want to be a kid again. Send me back to the kid. Like, can I go back to the little table? So I asked that. I definitely want to hear your reflections, your thoughts on that question in regards to looking back at daughterhood in that space, and were there some moments of clarity or anything in regards to looking at that experience?
Uh, would you like to go?
I guess I can go first. So, like, basically, you're just saying, just based off just my experience of being a daughter, now having a child of my own, just what I took
Right,
from her experience, now being a mother.
right,
Well, I can definitely say, of course, really understanding the amount of patience it takes being a mother. We have a different type of role versus a father and men. So the way that we have to nurture our children, the way that we have to support our children and be there for our children every step of the way, regardless of how old they are, but especially in the early years, as my son is in his early years, it's still like, it's that patience. So it just makes me think about just how I used to be when I was younger, going into my teenage years. And it was a point of time where, my mom did have to just let me go and let me just find out the hard way. And that was her, I feel like that was also her just allowing God to just, trust in God enough to know that, hey, I love my daughter enough to Um, you know, I love her enough to let her experience the world enough that I know that she is protected and safe. So just seeing how she um, handled me in that time, now that I'm old enough to understand that I'm glad that she let me do what I did, even though I shouldn't have did it. Shouldn't have been doing the things I was doing. But now I'm older and understanding that that is what made me who I am today. Like the experiences that I had to go through, even though she didn't want me to go through it, is something that I had to go through. So it's just her being a mother and being patient and trusting that, God is going to, I believe that, she trusted enough that God was going to get me out of the situation, but some things are out of our hands. So, taking that experience of just, again, how I was and me having a child now and me, this being my, well, I have two babies. One is in heaven and with a lie. And
Oh my.
I have, my baby now. So just actually being a mom and going through that transition and period of, I would say, trusting God enough to know that I am, the steward over him, but understanding that he doesn't belong to me. He belongs to Allah. Just as well, I believe that my mom kind of felt that way at the time when I was acting wild. Just trusting to know that as he grows older, that I can't protect him all the time. And I have to just embrace his journey as his own individual person. So I think that's what I kind of took a lot, what I've been taking a lot of, just being a mom myself, being overprotected, just based off situation I went through with my first son, and then just knowing how the world is, trying to be so overprotective, but also understanding that, if my mom didn't let me go through what I went through in my younger years or teenage years, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. And understanding that that is what I'm going to have to allow my son to do and be at times where it's that, I can't, hold his hand anymore. Let him be an individual and let him have his own experiences that maybe, God is molding him up to the man that he wants him to be.
What about you, mother?
Um, a memory that I have that I would like to share. Growing up, um, me and my mother were pregnant at the same time. Um, so uh, I had Angelica 2 weeks after my mother gave birth. 2 weeks after my mother gave birth. So I had to help raise my younger brothers and sister along with my daughter. So it was like having triplets in the house. So that was a lot at the time, being a daughter, and my mom, still having to go out and work, and me having Angelica at an early age. I was 16 when I had her, so very young and didn't know anything out here in this world. And same thing with my mom. She was telling me being hard headed, me not listening, getting out here, finding out, you know, um, she pretty much did the same thing with me, uh, letting me go and figure it out on my own because it was out of her hands. And same situation, as Angelica was just discussing with herself. We all have to find our way in this world, and we all make mistakes, and that's our best teacher. We have to make a mistake in order to find out. But me at that time and frame and giving birth, me lost, not knowing anything, didn't tell anybody I was pregnant, didn't go to the doctor. Like, I didn't do any of those things with Angelica. Um, so she's really a true angel and blessing, as well as the rest of my children. You know, I'm not knocking my. But anyway, yes, that memory, being a daughter and becoming a mother and having to, um, raise my brother and sister along with my daughter. Wow, whew, man, that right there, that was a lot. Me being young, first of all, and having to step up and having to be a mother and still a daughter, raising all of them together. Wow, man, that was
That's
something
deep.
else. Oh man, having to raise all y'all, but y'all pretty much brother and sister at the same time.
Yeah.
Ordeal, like so that memory just stands out to me and is strong in my mind because at that time, like I said and stated, I didn't know no better, but my mother stepped in as well to help me raise my daughter. So we were there for each other. It's that village, as you
Hmm.
stated, coming together, being able to be there, and helping one another out. And my mother she's always been a backbone, always been there for me in my younger years, most definitely. So being a daughter and having to, manage raising my brother and sister along with my daughter, I had that backbone within my mother, and I thank God for her. And she is why I am who I am today. And so I give grace to her, most definitely.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I want to ask you both. You both mentioned pain points, right? And oftentimes in the space of the pain points, we lose sight of each other. I took my mother through the ringer like my other siblings, one way or another. So in that space, how did y'all find your way back to each other and reestablish the bonds of what we see now? Because what we see now is beautiful and it's perfect. You see what I'm saying? So how did that perfection come together?
Wow. Well, I had to bump my head and go through some ropes and some hills and mountains. But one thing for sure, at the end of the day, if I ever wanted to come home, they always had the door open. So, even though I was doing me at a young age, um, anytime I wanted to come back home, they always left the door open. So I think because of that, and just thinking about just that just makes me think about mothers today and parents today. You let your child experience life, and then like you completely shut the door. It's kind of hard because sometimes that's how our children get into worse things, because like once they feel like it's like no coming back and can't turn back around, it's like I guess they don't love me, or it's no reason for me to come back. But I can say, like, after I went and experienced what I experienced, and finally made a decision to leave the situation I was in, they always left the door open for me. So yeah, because of that, I think they left the door open for me, and I came back home, and it was always love. It was always love there. So the love never went anywhere, even though at times I was like, no one's calling check up on me. No one, like, they don't care about me. Da, da, da. I used to think that, like, they just let me be out here. They don't care. Da, da, da. But at the end of the day, that I wanted to be out there. Like I was fighting them just to stay out there. Like I was doing the most just to not be in the house and just stay out in the world. So me being a mother now and understanding now the patience you got to have for that and just being like, hey, I just listen. I just let it go. It's stressful. Like it's so much. It's only so much that someone can do. Mother, father, anybody. So me being able to just go out and experience life, and then being able to still had a love coming back home. I think that's what kind of not kind of that is actually what reunited us, and got us able to reconnect and rebuild our bond. So, yeah. And then, of course, life, growing up, getting older, getting wiser, going through more things, and also seeing that, me and my mom, of course, we kind of share, some of the same experiences. So because of that, I learned a lot from her as I continue to grow, as I came back, into the household when I did leave. So yeah.
Mother.
Yeah. Um, she pretty much touched on that part really well. Yeah, the door was always open. Even though, you know, like I say, like I've said, we all make mistakes. She made her mistakes, and yes, I let her go. I me myself and I knew she was gonna be okay. God above had her. There was nothing that I could do at the time, but allow God to come in and take control. Um, which most of us eventually have to do. You know, we be hard headed within ourselves and we fight a battle that we don't need to fight. I mean, you need to let go and let God. I said I wasn't doing it with myself, and I said if my child wanted to be hard headed, she was gonna find out the hard way. But the door remained open if she decided she was done finding out the hard way. Um, so yeah, same thing with me. You know, my mother kept the door open, but I realized after I had my daughter, there was nothing else out there for me but to
Mm.
raise my daughter and my brother and sister. So yeah, door was always open, and God was always in control. It was out of my hands. She, whoever you want to call God, took control, and that's what it was about at that time for her. And she found out. She knows better. She grew from that, and we all have to grow from the mistakes that we make. Those are the challenges and the bumps in the road that people speak of. So yeah.
So, how would y'all describe your relationship outside of using the word mother and daughter to the world? How would y'all describe y'all's relationship?
That's my bestie. And my bestie.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Leave it to Miss. I call her. Oh, never mind. Oops, contradicted myself.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, Angelica and I have grown so with even with her having her having to struggle dealing with her first pregnancy. That was a lot. Um, I think we really became closer then
Yeah.
because she really needed my for me to be the backbone for her at that time. Um, and then her having her rainbow baby, Mister Man over there. Uh, we became closer, and we became closer after she had her son. Um, so yeah, it's life is a lesson, and we learn and we grow from the mistakes and the challenges that we come across. And yeah, I think that's initially how we ended up evolving with one another. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's my bestie. I be calling her and get on her nerves. She'd be like, "What, Jelly? What do you want?"
I am not the one to be. She knows me. I'm not the one to. I'm not talkative. I'm not
Mm-mm.
like in your face and like, hey, my daughter. We are completely opposite.
Yeah, we are.
She she's outgoing.
Uh,
She's out there. She's gonna give it to you. I'm more reserved, more quiet. What they say they call that introvert
mm-hmm.
to a
Mhm.
certain extent. So yeah, she's definitely she is she, and she does her. But yeah, we're really good friends, and her being my daughter and growing and watching her do her, and becoming a true woman in the nation of Islam, and this is just really refreshing to see how she has changed over the years and have grown over the years. So I'm grateful for her, and God above blessing me with her.
Love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. So Angelica recently had an event and I saw you in there, okay, in all of your glory. What was it like from your perspective? What was your takeaways from the event, mother? Like, and how proud were you of your best friend over here, okay? And pulling off what she pulled off and putting together what she put together.
Oh wow, yeah, that was whew, that was lovely. Like everything about it, from the from the beginning to the end, including my services, of course. Mama's got to step in and do their thing. So yes, along with my assistants, and then the other sisters as well stepping in. As beautiful as they are, and helping us out within that at that particular time. That event was everything. Uh, Touched on subjects that definitely needed to be touched on. Uh, and if you didn't get a lesson or evolve from the event some kind of way, in some fashion, form, manner, I don't know what you got out of it. Like, me, myself, and I got plenty out of it. Um, and I want her to, she definitely has to have more at this point because she has a lot to say. Um, and it's like I've said, it's very refreshing to know and see how she has grown and changed and matured into a beautiful woman and doing great things for herself in the Nation of Islam, and getting people to realize life in general and how you need to go about things, and her coaching people, and bringing different aspects of her own self to the table. um, it was lovely. Like everything about it. I definitely enjoyed my time meeting up with the other women, and having those moments, or that particular moment when we got a chance to uh, partner up with
Mm.
people, different, ladies, and it just so happened my little sister, she happened to come to the event, and she obviously sat right next to me. So even within my little sister, she's the same age as my oldest son. They're both 24, have the same birthday, by the way, as well. Something else. But anyway, there were certain things that I did not know about my little sister because I really didn't get the opportunity to, because I was raising, you know, all my children at that point in time. My three lovely children, because I don't think Jaleisha had been born at that given time. But however, me getting to know my sister at the event, even like things I didn't know about her. So that event was everything, and getting to know one another, um, just getting to mingle with other women and getting to know their perspectives in life, and just everything was nice. I really can't say anything more about it. Like, it was nice, and yeah, you definitely need to have another one. So we need to make that happen.
Yeah, I know. Inshallah, inshallah.
Yes, yes.
Inshallah. Yes. So I want to ask you both about mending relationships as far as black women are concerned. There are things that are out there that's been out there for a while in regards to the negativity about black women coming together. You might hear stuff like, I don't mess with too many black women, they messy, blah blah blah. It's a jealousy thing, it turned into a competition, all of those things. And some of those things begin with their familial relationships. So what are some key things that you both think are necessary to mend those broken spaces and start to reestablish trust, healing from the wounds of familial relationships, or just the space of the sisterhood? The sisterhood was the strongest place, and now it appears to be something other than that. So definitely want to hear your thoughts on action steps or mentality shifts, whatever the case may be, in regards to building the bridge back together.
Well, I definitely believe it's first and foremost that mentality shift that needs to happen because even with past experiences that women may have went through, um, it's usually those past experiences, honestly, that kind of um, opens the gap for issues with other people and or other women. With my experience before I joined the nation and built, was able to build my sisterhood, it was just things that I went through with women that kind of made me like, I don't know, like it made me believe that all women was that way, because of the experience that I had with other women being betrayed, lied, and just crazy things, right? But as I'm growing as a person and as an individual, it always go back to self. Yes, I was younger at that time, so I didn't really know so much about myself. However, as I'm growing into myself and knowing myself, I'm able to have more of, I would say, humility for other women and things that they've been through, so I won't take it personally. I always go back to the book "Closing the Gap" by I may have said his name wrong, Minister Jabril. May Allah be pleased with him. And he did a they say interview the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and just about just how just dealing with people in general, how he didn't take things personally. Sometimes you have to go back into that childlike state because even when you're a child, you're not really focused on what people are saying, what people are doing, because that's not your focus. You're focused on whatever's in front of you. You're focused on whatever is got your attention. So I kind of took that as I would say as an aid as well, just the way that I go about life and the way that I see things and see just relationship with other women, just understanding like, hey, I've been there before. I understand where you've been through. I've been in that position where I didn't trust women. I didn't feel secure, didn't feel, like I wanted to build those relationships because you had the uh, drama, the beef, I think the main thing would be the arguing over men. I think that was always the big thing with women. So just not want to be in that space. However, like I said, as I done grew to being who I am, I'm just understanding that unfortunately, not even just women, all of us, we just been, we just been fed all these lies and false, I would say, false advertising of who women are. like who they say that women are. Like we are combative, we're argumentative, we're all these different things, and how, you know, what women only care about. But because I've changed my mindset, and praise be to Allah for the Nation of Islam and me joining the nation and understanding who I am as a person, you know, I'm understanding that we're all victims. Like everyone is a victim of this world and this society and things that they just been fed on to each other. So me understanding that, hey, honestly, my sister is just a victim, and it's been things that my sister may have went through that I may not understand, but I understand enough to have humility for her to be like, hey, you know, just because you went through these things don't mean that I'm going to do you the same way, and just always being that example so that sister can know that, hey, you know, I know you've been through these experiences with other women, but let me show you a different side. Let me show you that we can build, we can grow together, and we can become one. Because unfortunately, because of these division within the womanhood, the sisterhood, it's really making the family household dysfunction. Because at the end of the day, you know, when the women can't come together, can't vent together, can't come together and grieve, whatever it is that, you know, women need each other for, it kind of makes it hard for us just as women to, I would say, you know, as far as like the household, just us being the best woman we can be to our children, you know, because we feed off the examples of other women. So when you can't go to other women when things that you're going through, seeing that other women had actually went through what you went through, you kind of disabling yourself to be able to aid yourself as a woman, so you can aid your children and seeing what it is that you can do as a woman to, you know, aid your children as they grow. So, you know, I'll just say, just, you know, like I said, just having humility and understanding that, you know, as a woman, that we all have been victimized, and we're all victims. We all been victims of circumstances, unfortunately, of this world. And because of that, that'll give you more of a heart to have an understanding for your sister and just be like, you know, hey, you know, I'm not holding any grudges against you. You know, I'm not, you know, I've been a victim of these things, but that doesn't mean that's who you are. Just because you went through these things doesn't mean that's who you are. You're not the person that you've been through. You know, yeah, you share the same experiences, but that's not who you are. So being an example and then showing other women that, you know, there are women out here that you can trust and you can build sisterhood with. So yeah.
Mother.
Oh yeah. Learning how to trust again. That's you know, if you've been through the battle and struggle dealing with women who have been hurt, or just dealing with life in general. You know, there's a lot that goes on in this world. So relearning how to trust is something that does take a little time. You know, we as women go through a lot, and black women, you know, as we know, are dubbed angry, got an attitude, you know, all that stuff. So, you know, it's society in general, and, you know, what's been placed out here in front of everyone else's face. And we have to relearn to trust one another. And that's really the big thing. Um, it's so much. It's so much that we have to, and we have to connect with ourselves.
I was about to
We
say
have to
that.
connect with ourselves. That's like the ultimate thing right there. Once you find out what's going on with you, you will do better. Have a better connection with your sister
Mm-hmm.
in general. You will. Uh, Being able to trust again that sister, uh, and not reconnecting with old people or old habits. Staying away from negativity, negative people, negative energies, all that. I mean, you know, you definitely want to stay away from that. And when you're building upon yourself, you want to be surrounded with women who do value themselves first and foremost, and you got you found somebody that you have a connection with, because that's what you're working on. You're working on yourself. You're trying to work on that trust and rebuild, and you want to be surrounded with positivity, with women who are on that same platform and who are willing to bring you in the fold and say, hey, I'm here for you. And being able to basically find out who you are as a woman in general, and let go of certain things, and a lot of women are holding on to things that they need to let go of, and they need to learn how to retrust. So once again, God above, that's the person you need to go to and get direction, and the assistance that's needed, and that's prayer, meditation, all those good things. That will eventually lead you into trusting again and learning uh, how to become a sister all over again. So it really does make a difference when you have Allah, God, like I said, whomever you want to say involved. So that'll be the major key in rebuilding the trust in sisterhood, is learning yourself and God.
Rebuilding the trust with self.
Exactly. There
Right.
you go.
Mm-hmm.
Rebuilding the trust with self first. Yeah. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's key.
Now, what about forgiveness? How did you go about the process of forgiving yourself for what you perceive as mistakes? How did you forgive yourselves, or have you? Because you don't necessarily automatically just forgive yourself. Like, that's a part of reestablishing trust, a space of forgiveness.
I think that I'm still kind of working through those areas in my life of forgiving myself, because I just always feel like I can do better. And if I didn't make certain mistakes, then, certain circumstances may not have appeared. But I think within the period of forgiving yourself, you also have to just embrace it. So I guess I'm just learning just to embrace myself for who I am and understanding that. And I always go back, I always think about this verse in the Bible. I think it's Matthew 8:28. All things work for the good of the Lord. I hope I have it right. If not, correct me. But at the end of the day, all things work for the good of God, and everything always ends out, working out the way it's supposed to work out. So, like with any mistakes that happen, it always end out turning out to be, for the good, even if it doesn't look like it. So, I guess just trusting and knowing that, even though mistakes can happen, or even though you've been in a period of not forgiving those or forgiving others. Just embrace that period in your life. So I guess I mean, honestly, as I continue to work on self, I think the big thing is self, 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 self. The only way that you're going to be able to forgive anyone or forgive, period, is going back into forgive yourself. But the only way you're going to be able to forgive yourself is to be able to acquire the knowledge as to who you are and as to why you may have made the mistakes that you made. So when you go into just self-discovery, self-analysis, self-examination, just knowing who you are and getting deep in the root of who you are again, you kind of give yourself a little bit of grace. Is going back into history, understanding what happened in the past with with our ancestors in slavery. It's a lot of things that didn't happen to us, and a lot of things that we are taking on now that done happened just through slavery. That we have this DNA, this genetics that's within us that you know that makes us a certain way, unfortunately. So just understanding our history and understanding how our people are, what they've been through, kind of gives you an understanding of, wow, okay, maybe that is kind of why I act the way I act, and most of the times too, it's also about your environment as well. Maybe you wasn't in the right environment. Maybe something happened within that time frame and you were, didn't have the right examples. But just understanding that, yes, those things happen, but always look at the good of what you got out of that. It's always a lesson and it's a lesson and a blessing. Little do we know. So yeah.
Mother.
Uh, right. Yeah. Um, with me, uh, I've forgiven myself. Um, there's a lot that has went on in my past life, but I believe uh, me getting to know who I am within the past, what, going on 5 years now, um, has opened my eyes to a lot. I became what they say vegan, but I just say healthy. Vegan is so loosely used. At this point, I'm sick and tired of hearing about vegan. But I'm healthy. I'm healthy. I eat right. Um, that's no meat. Um, so it all plays a role when you're forgiving self. You have to. It starts with what you put in your mouth. I mean, you got to make sure you eat right. Uh, Surround yourself with positivity. And sometimes you may have to isolate yourself just to get away from, or in order to know who you are. I should say that because you're around the noise all the time. How are you going to get to know self when you're surrounded with others who don't know themselves? Um, and within that time frame, I've gotten to know who I am and what I'm here for. Um, it's no longer mess. It's no longer drama. It's no longer the ins and outs of this world. I'm not a part of that anymore. And me coming into knowing who I am uh, within the past, I'm not gonna say 4 years. I'm gonna retract that and go back within the past couple of years. I've gotten to know who I truly am, and that's been with fasting. And as I speak, I will be fasting for the next 5 days. Um, oh yeah, shouldn't have
Yeah.
spoke behind it, but I am. It all that plays a role in who you are, who you become to be. We have to watch what we put in our mouths. That's initially the first thing you want to do. Everybody has to come into their own, and everybody's not the same. Everyone's body is different. But however, me forgiving myself within the past couple of years, and having that talk with the one above, a source, like I say, whomever to you call. Um, I've I've changed a whole lot, and you have to go into isolation in order to do that. Yeah, that's the only way. You having that isolated, like they say, they got that closet, go in that closet, get on your knees and pray. Yeah, you got the meditation, whatever your form is, honey. You got to take time out and do that to recognize what you are here for and what you are supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be out here doing all this old random stuff. You're really not.
Mm-hmm.
You're not. You're here for a purpose, and I'm glad that I know what my purpose is now. And I've forgiven myself for a lot of different things, thanks to the one above.
Beautiful. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
Somewhere in the Bible it says God helps those who help themselves.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
God
There
had
you
God
go.
had to help himself in Genesis chapter 6. Genesis chapter 6 was talking about the flood. At the beginning of Genesis, Genesis chapter 1 and 2, everything that God created and made was good. Right? At the end of the creation, everything was good. By Genesis chapter 6, the thing that God was most proud of making had begun to grieve his heart. So in that space of grieving his heart, he repented for what he had made. He seen a thing where he looked inside of it and it was evil continuously. He said, "What is that thing? I need to destroy that thing. I need to destroy that thing from the face of the earth. So I'm going to take responsibility for the decision I made to make it. And I'm going to bring about its destruction." And in that decision, right before the decision was made, God found Noah. And it said Noah was perfect in his generation. Not that Noah was a great guy, but Noah was perfect for this experiment. This guy is considered the least amongst the people. If I could raise him from the dead state that he's in, then this society is worth saving. So if I could raise this one from amongst them, then the society is worth saving. Not necessarily everybody, because folks, they're going to be their own demise, because the Holy Quran says we wrong them not, but they wrong themselves. So if that's what they cleave to, they meet their demise based off of that. But if I could see something in this man right here and get him to realize that perfection that he has within in this imperfect state, then there's hope. Then I don't have to destroy everything. You understand what I'm saying? So once he began to work on that and the ridicule that he suffered and everything like that, when you're walking into your purpose, because you said purpose, and I wanna end in the space with the purpose. God didn't tell everybody. God told Noah. So Noah had to go back to his friends and his family that knew him that as the wild one. He was crazy out there. They said he was a drunk, whatever it was, whatever they had in their mind. Now, this guy is telling you that an impending doom is coming for you. And we got to build this ark and get our stuff together and prepare for this storm that's coming. And they're looking at the sky, and the cloud in the sky. They're like, what is Noah talking about? So, because of that lack of credibility or that fixed mindset that they had about Noah, they ignored him. And they began to look at the credibility of Noah, of his dutifulness to this purpose of building this ark and gathering these animals and putting them in the ark. They said, maybe it got to be something to it. So those people were drawn to what he was doing because he was doing it. He wasn't doing nothing else. He was steadily on his purpose and on his path. He began to meet the people that was necessary, whose lives got saved. Everybody else suffered what was happening. So it might look a little skewed to some folks what you doing. And they're like, "What you doing that for? What you can't eat nothing." We go through Ramadan like you can't eat nothing. You can't even drink no water. What kind of stuff you got going? Like so it's there because it's attractive. But they're trying to rationalize the two parts of their mind, the part that they love about it and the thing that's perplexing to them. It's the same thing though. You're perplexed by it. That's what make you love it because it's not the same. Everybody not walking around saying they're going to fast for the next 5 days. They're like, huh? Everybody knows it's like, huh? Like so, but this is a decision that you made for yourself because to be able to go within, you know what's necessary and what's needed to be able to go within in order for you to reach what you need to reach. There's a moment of quiet. There's a moment of isolation. There's a moment of cutting off the world. There's a moment of being hardwired and walking in that particular space and purpose. That's what that is. So the people outside, it's like they like background noise. It's like whatever. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You got that laser focus, you got tunnel vision in regards to, that particular purpose and seeing it through. So seeing it through. So God did it with himself, and he did it with himself through Noah. So you're looking at the least of creation in that space right there to bring out the best. And that was one of the things that my father did, that my mother did with their time in the nation. And many of the people that were out and you come in contact with them, this is where you meet them. You meet them in a fallen state.
Mm-hmm.
And you utilize what you learn on yourself. You ain't
Mm-hmm.
utilizing what somebody else. You utilize what you learned on yourself, and then you
Mhm.
continually learn through the process of resurrection, and
Right.
you become an ambassador for what resurrection looks like. But you know that everybody you meet in that condition, you begin to understand their mind, what they're
Mm-hmm.
thinking right there. So I think it's a beautiful opportunity to be able to see it, and even know uh, the creator had to go through the same process. The creator had to go through the same process and shared it enough for you to be able to extrapolate it if you were paying attention. So it's like even I, even I made it to these mistakes. So don't perplex yourself and get caught up in the mistakes. Like I had to atone for my own sins. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying in that perspective. So the last thing I wanted to speak about was purpose. We got destiny driven strategies. We got healing with Angelica. Y'all are living in this purpose, walking in this purpose, and y'all sharing y'all gifts with the world. So I would like you both to introduce what you do, the services, the products you offer, and their importance to the listening audience and everybody who will view these archives.
I guess I go first. So, what do I do? Well, I do a lot of things, but my main mission and purpose is to help young women and girls heal, and then I'll go more in depth about that. So I help young women and girls discover who they are, discover their self purpose, their values, and being able to, I want to say, self examine just things that they've been through so they can extract that so they can see again their value. Um, I would I was just talking to Brother Ben X about this yesterday. Hopefully, I was right when I said it. But I said, a lot of us are going through an identity crisis, just not knowing who we are. So I want to help women, get out of that crisis of not knowing who they are and their identity. So yeah, hold on, you guys. Amir wants to come in. I guess I'll let him come in. Hold on. He been out for a little minute. Yes, son. How can I help you? You okay? You good? I'm almost done. Okay. Shut the door. No? Okay, that's fine. You can just stay right there. Anyway, yeah, so I do that. So within that, I have one-on-one consultations that I do with those that are ready to embark on their healing journey. Because I even said it before in my life, like healing is a journey. Healing to me is a journey of self-improvement. So it's going to be a lot of things that we have to, you know, go through in order to heal. And as you're healing, you're improving yourself. You're improving your condition. You're improving your mindset. You're improving your body. So, yeah, that's all that in a nutshell. But including with that, I have Healing with Angelica podcast. I've been doing my podcast now for 2.5 years. And we talk about all things healing mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, because all that within that has to be talked about when it comes to healing. So yeah, and of course, you guys can follow me on my main page. It's Angelica X Musalima or Healing with Angelica on all of your social media platforms. And inshallah, if it be the will of Allah, I'm working on doing something to where, I get to travel with this and be able to, connect with more women and help them on their healing journey of self-improvement and knowing who they are. So, yeah.
And your book too gonna be
Oh, yes, 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 and including with that, I be having so much, you guys. Like I'm doing a lot. So, yeah. So within that, I also have my new ebook. It's called Thrive, Thrive, right? Because once you are able to heal, and go through that journey of self improvement, that's when you're able to just be who you are, and you're thriving in your natural state as a woman, your natural state as a human being on this earth, right? So I have a new ebook called Thrive. It's a guide for young Black women to reconnect with self and God. Like I said, like we talked about before, everything starts with self. But in order to understand who you are, you have to understand also your creator. So yeah.
okay. Okay. I didn't want
Well,
you to leave your book
yeah.
out.
Yeah, thank you for that, bro.
Hmm.
You gotta add that in there,
Grandmother, mother,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, yes. Yes, I am the founder and owner of Destiny Driven Strategies, and my mentors, Chris and Erica Cobb of the Chosen Agency. We deal with life insurance, and we basically are educating people on life insurance and, the best policies that they can get for themselves, and also trying to squash the um, the GoFundMe. Uh, a lot of people don't. Younger generations don't know about life insurance, and if they do know anything about life insurance, um, they just assume that it's too high. They don't have the money for it, et cetera, et cetera. But for the most part, that's what I'm doing. I'm here to help educate people on life insurance, what it's about, what it entails, anything that you want to know about life insurance in general. And I am also looking for people to become agents as well. Um, and you guys can contact me on the Facebook platform as well as the Instagram platform. And on Instagram, it'll be under, well, no, it's still Destiny Driven. So, yes, Destiny Driven Strategies on Facebook and Instagram platforms. And I am also on TikTok under Life Insurance Analyst. So yeah, here to educate people on life insurance and help people get life insurance to in order for people to not have to do a GoFundMe or do have what they the fish fries and things of that nature when people uh, are passing away. And not only that, you can also build wealth within the life and within life insurance itself. So there's a lot that people don't know about that I'm willing to help out with, and you guys can give me also. Um, you can also connect with me with my number 937-234-7360.
Oh, wait.
Mhm.
Yes. So I just wanted to bring up just the life insurance thing because it's like, a lot of us, I don't think are, of course, properly knowledge about life insurance and why we actually need it. So like my mom, she again will assist those with more knowledge of why it is needed, so we don't have to be financially burdened with the, expense of trying to bury our loved ones and trying to handle any other affairs that they may have had prior to their transitioning, because within that's stressful alone. I think we all should have the privacy to grieve a certain manner in a certain way, and being able to actually, have not have to worry about the financial needs of getting our loved one buried a proper way, and making sure their financial state, or whatever the financial state was prior to their transitioning, is handled properly. So my mom is good on that. And she also has her herbal skincare business. Don't forget about that. You gotta
Ah,
put that in there
well.
too.
Mm.
Add
Yeah.
that in there. Yeah, because you want your skin
She
to look good. Like what?
look. I was letting her be great, and I was like, all right,
I know, right, right. Of course,
Use
but
it, okay?
I'm slipping. I'm slipping. Thank you, daughter. I appreciate you in
Yeah,
so many
you're
more
right.
ways than you know. Yes. I do. I do have skincare products that I make myself. No chemicals whatsoever. I always say straight herbs, no chemicals at all. Everything is infused with the oil that I make myself, that I let infuse for a couple of days with all natural herbs. And I use that oil to make my products. So yeah, and I once again can be found on Facebook under Destiny Driven Herbs, and then also on Instagram under Destiny Driven Herbs. And the contact number is still the same. It's 937-234-7360. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, look.
Yeah, y'all hit my mama up. And oh, let me leave my contact information because she made me forget to. Not remember, my bad. She made me remember. But any Healing with Angelica services you would like, please, you can reach out to me direct. Okay, 937-313-2466. Again, I am here to assist you on your healing journey. Yay.
Oh, yeah, right. And I meant to say, I am working on a website and trying to get things under everything is under construction right now. But however, once again, I could be contacted at that number, and shipping is available for the products. So just let me know. You don't want to be bothered with no chemicals, and most of everything that is out here on the market is not meant for your skin. I'm also looking into doing soap here within the next couple of months. So uh, just want to let you guys know that as well. But basically, you want to put the way you take care of your inside is the way you want to take care of your outside. You want to be able to nourish your skin as much as possible. So you want to use herbs for your skin as well.
And that's where wealth come in at.
Yeah,
Wellness is wealth. You can't
exactly.
you can't have wealth if you don't have your wellness together. So yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you got to have yourself together. If you don't have, like she just stated, if you don't have your health, you won't have wealth.
that sounds like a final word right there. Unless y'all got one more final word before we get out of here, because Amir said our time is up. Okay, so
I
shout
know.
out to
Okay,
you,
it's
Amir,
bust up in
being
here like
true,
what's
being true to his name. Okay, the leader, Amir. Okay, he
Uh
is the
huh.
Amir.
There
It's
you
like, all right,
go.
that's it. It's a wrap.
There you go. Right,
It's a wrap.
right.
yeah.
No. Well, I thank you once again for allowing us to have this time on your platform and being able to share our knowledge on what it is that we know, and just having the time to, come on and talk and speak upon, those necessary things that did need to be discussed. So thank you. Appreciate you.
Yes, yes, and gratitude, my brother. All praises be to Allah. I'm so grateful for you, and thank you again for allowing me space on your platform. And if anyone is watching this on my platform, y'all be sure to share, like, follow, and subscribe to my brother here, because he got the juice. Okay, y'all gonna get
Yes,
y'all. Yeah,
yes.
he got the juice.
Same as
Okay, he gonna keep it real,
yes.
and he gonna enlighten you as well. Cause my brother over here be spitting some gems as well. So y'all make sure y'all
He
like,
oh
follow,
wait.
subscribe, and support.
Ooh wait. Gems ain't it, girl. He's spitting diamonds. What you talking about, honey?
Diamond,
Hello?
bow.
Not gems. He's spitting
Okay,
diamonds, honey.
okay. Let me write that down.
Okay,
I don't care what the
Diamond.
world got to say. Y'all heard what Mama said. Mama said, I'm out here spitting diamonds. Okay. Yes.
Diamond,
Yes,
honey.
thank you.
Yes. Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you both. Don't be strangers. They love y'all over here. Okay. They love y'all over here.
Yes.
They loved y'all separately. Now they love y'all together. They're like, oh my goodness, they were so great. Blah blah blah. They ready. They ready. I'm telling you. Telling you. Mama, you're gonna have to get your show on the road. You're gonna have to be a what they call it, a extroverted introvert.
I
Okay.
know,
Okay.
You have to be
yeah,
on
I know. I gotta come on now. That's the challenge. That's one of my challenges. I'm climbing up there. I'm
You got
gonna
it.
be on out here. Yep.
Hey,
I gotta get out here. That's the challenge that I'm about to knock down. I'm about to knock it over.
that's it.
Coming on out. Yep.
That's it. We love to see it. Look at the
Yeah.
Amir.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, baby.
Okay. All right.
Hi,
But
baby.
yes.
So we're out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Love to
You
you
do the
both.
same.
And
Thank
continue
you.
to
Thank
shine.
you.
Peace. Peace.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Welcome.
Hey.
Here, me. Knock it off at your.
Alex got a bad day, peace to Allah. And justice, each and every day, each and every way. I'm gonna show and prove and teach the righteous way. Allah and justice.
The way I give back is through the knowledge of my raps. The way I give back is through the knowledge of my raps.
Supreme wizardry, vivid vocal photography, music by Atlas. My Instagram handle you can follow.